All right, welcome. Today, we're going to meet a completely new kind of scientist. They're cracking some of the biggest mysteries in biology, but not with a microscope. Nope. Their main tool is massive, and I mean massive, amounts of data. So let's meet the Digital Biologist.
So, let me ask you something. When you picture a scientist's lab, what pops into your head? You're probably thinking of bubbling beakers, maybe a pristine white lab coat, the low hum of machinery, right? Well, that whole picture is changing, and it's changing really, really fast.
You see, the lab of the 20th century was all about physical things. You had your microscope, your petri dish. But today's lab, more often than not, it's a supercomputer. The most important tool isn't made of glass, it's lines of code. And the subject isn't just a culture in a dish, it's terabytes of genetic data. The lab has officially gone digital.
And this huge shift has given rise to a new kind of hero in the world of science. So for a minute, I want you to forget the lab coat and instead picture a detective, a digital detective. Their beat is the human body, and all the clues they need are hidden deep inside our own biological code.
Now here's the formal definition, a computational biologist. But let's break that down. What does it actually mean? Well, imagine someone who's fluent in two completely different languages, the super complex language of biology and the incredibly precise language of data. They use computer code and statistics like a high-powered magnifying glass to find patterns and clues that are hidden in these enormous biological datasets.
So, what kind of mysteries are these detectives trying to solve? Let's open up their very first case file, Cracking the Cancer Code. This is, without a doubt, one of the most complex and urgent cases in all of medicine.
You see, a digital detective doesn't just look at a tumor under a microscope. They hunt for very specific clues in the data. They're searching for those tiny genetic typos, we call them mutations, that actually cause the cancer in the first place. They uncover unique biomarkers, which are kind of like the cancer's own fingerprints. They even map out the cancer's internal communication lines to figure out how to shut them down. This is how they find the Achilles heel of a very specific cancer.
And they have a really methodical way of doing this. It's a clear, four-step process. First, they profile the suspects, all the genetic mutations and variants. Second, they analyze those communication networks, the signaling pathways. Third, they zero in on those unique biomarkers hidden in the data. And finally, they take all of that evidence and use it to build a model that predicts how a tumor is going to respond to different drugs. It's an incredible journey from just raw data all the way to personalized treatment.
All right, let's open up the next case file. Now, in this case, our detective isn't just chasing a villain like cancer. They are actually designing a defense system, a digital vaccine. This whole field is called Immunoinformatics, and it's all about using data to understand and even engineer our own immune responses.
This quote just nails it. Before you can fight a virus, your body needs to know exactly what to look for. So computational biologists sift through a virus's genetic code to find its most unique and vulnerable parts, its fingerprint. These specific parts, which are called epitopes, are what they can use to teach our immune system to recognize and attack the invader.
And here's the blueprint for how they do it. What's amazing is that this is all done in silico, which is just a fancy way of saying it's all done on a computer, long before anything ever enters a physical lab. They predict the targets, they run digital tests for safety and potency, and they even check how effective the vaccine might be across different populations all over the globe. They literally build and test the entire vaccine digitally first.
And beyond just designing defenses, these digital biologists are also becoming master cartographers, master mapmakers of our body's internal world. They are mapping our incredibly complex immune system to really understand how it communicates and fights off threats all on its own. And this is the core idea. It's so simple but so profound. Our immune system isn't just one single army. It's this vast, sprawling network of different cells and signals. To get how a disease disrupts this system or how a treatment can help defend it, you have to have a detailed map of the entire battlefield first. And that map is made of things we call biological pathways. The best way to think of them is like molecular roadmaps that tell your cells what to do. Computational biologists use these huge public databases like KEGG and Reactome, which are basically the Google Maps for our cells. They use them to trace all the signals and piece together the story of a disease. But finding all these clues, the mutations, the pathways, the vaccine targets, that's really only half the battle. A detective's work isn't done until they've presented their case. And in the world of science, that means turning all that raw data into a clear, compelling story that can be shared with the entire scientific community.
And there are different ways to tell that story. A narrative review is like a broad overview, kind of like a documentary on the topic. But a systematic review and meta-analysis, that's way more like a forensic investigation. It asks a very specific question and uses super strict statistical methods to combine the results from lots of different studies into one powerful conclusion. It's incredibly rigorous stuff.
Ultimately, the final report, the manuscript, has to be absolutely watertight. It has to present the evidence, the methods, and the conclusions in a way that will stand up to the intense scrutiny of international journals. This is how one detective's discovery becomes knowledge for the entire world.
So, after all these case files and these complex investigations, we finally get to the big reveal. Why does this digital detective, this computational biologist, actually matter to you and me?
Well, this kind of work is the engine that's driving modern medicine forward. It's what powers faster drug discovery. It's what makes personalized cancer treatments a reality. It's why we can develop new vaccines in record time. It is literally building the future of predictive medicine, a future where we might be able to anticipate diseases before they even start.
And that just leaves us with this one final kind of amazing question. For thousands of years, biology was a science of observation. Now it's becoming a science of information. So if our own genetic code really is the blueprint for life, and we finally have the tools to read it, what incredible things are we going to build next?